and welcome to Ghost News Network. This is the week beginning March 22nd, 2015. Hope everybody's having a great day. As always, I'm still Dimitri Haratos, along with
Rob Levine
and Michael Cardino
and
Nancy Scary
and
people not speaking.
Teresa Santora.
And
Shannon.
Alright.
Nice.
And on DVR,
Mike Pepe.
so we got a full house here today, guys.
Yeah, we did.
Huzzah!
Yeah. But I hope everyone out there in the ether is doing well. And we got a great show lined up ahead of us for today. We have our urban myth and legend, which is Lake George Field Hospital, Battlefield Park. Our definition of the week is vortex. Equipment review is PSB7 Spirit Box. This week in paranormal history, it's this month in paranormal history, because I just want to cover it really bad. March 1st, 1692, Salem witch hunt begins. Nancy's going to be going over her social street, and then we have a few fan questions to answer, followed by stones, right, Shannon?
Yep.
We doing that today?
Are we getting stoned with Shannon today?
Getting stoned with Shannon.
Yoo-hoo!
Getting stoned with Shannon and Teresa. And then we have a really cool EVP that we're going to play for you guys later as well. So, let's start off with the basics. What's new in Lippy, Mike?
Lots of new stuff on our website. We got a whole bunch of new sites going up. Some new equipment that'll be going up there shortly. So otherwise, just getting ready for our upcoming trips. A couple of reveals that we got to schedule for house investigations. That's about it. Same as last week and a couple other weeks.
It's a beautiful snowy spring.
Yeah,
here in New York.
Sucks. But getting anxious to get out in the field again because we've been in-house training for the past couple months. So we're looking forward to hopefully getting back out in the field shortly and see what happens. That's about it, pretty much. I know, Rob, I don't know if you want to go over our e-store.
Oh yes, so we've been working very hard for months and getting up a new web store where we can have different types of items on it, such as different types of like bracelets and necklaces and piece of equipment that we created for it called the Energy Loss Meter, and it's now up and running from our Facebook page. So if someone just goes on our Facebook page and you look on the left-hand side of the screen and scroll down a little bit, there's an option for store. So go on and check it out if you haven't had the chance yet.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
All right. So, to start off the show, our urban myth and legend.
Yup. Lake George Field Hospital in Battlefield Park.
Yay!
Awesome location. Brief history. The Battle of Lake George, not to be confused with the Battle of Fort William Henry. The Battle of Lake George took place on September 8, 1755 between French, Indian, and Canadian and British forces. The battle is nothing more than two separate engagements throughout the day. The first engagement was called the Bloody Morning Scout. It was an ambush. The French and Indian forces set up on a rough road. The French and Indian forces fired on the British and Indian forces. The Mohawk war chief and ally to the British king, Henrik, was killed along the British commander, Colonel Williams. Nathan Whiting assumes command and orders the British to retreat. More British troops have heard of this engagement and have come to the rescue. They have set up cannons and barricades waiting for the French. The French arrive at noon and the large fight breaks out. It is the French this time who are beaten back. The second engagement, called the Bloody Pond, took place 300 New Hampshire and New York colonial ambushed French and Indian forces just south of the present-day town at a small pond. The colonials threw the bodies of the Indians and Canadians into the pond, turning the water red from all the blood. By 5 p.m., the Battle of Lake George was over. It is estimated that the British suffered 216 killed and 96 wounded. However, the French losses are estimated close to 800. The battle was the first British victory against the French thus far in this war. Haunted history. There are many paranormal claims associated with the battlefield. People have reported seeing phantom soldiers or regiments on the field. People have reported hearing cannon fire or gunshots. And paranormal investigators have recorded lots of EVPs, and there are also claims of seeing a smoky form by the King Hendrik Monument. So yeah, we were actually able to investigate this location quite a few times, and I think the first time we investigated it, we were just it was me and one other investigator. We were just kind of sitting right in like the middle of where the old field hospital would have stand, and we were just standing there and actually sitting down, and we looked up, and right in front of us, it basically looked like there was somebody that just walked right in front of us and then just disappeared. And it was weird. It was definitely a weird feeling. Right after that, we started asking EVP questions, took some photos, but unfortunately nothing came out. But it was definitely a pretty cool experience. But yeah, it's definitely an awesome location. The whole battlefield, it's not a huge area. It's actually pretty small, but there's different sections on it. Like you have the old field hospital, where there's claims. You have Fort George, where there's some claims as well. There's another spot on there of like an Indian, it's an Indian statue drinking from water. There are claims of paranormal activity over there. So what we're trying to do on our website is break up each location and have its own little storyline per location. So, but yeah, this is on our website. You can check it out at www.liparanormalinvestigators.com, and it's the Lake George Field Hospital at Battlefield Park. So yeah, can't wait to go back. We'll be going back in
End of May.
Can't wait.
Very
Should be
excited.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. So
Very excited
should
for
be good.
that.
Yep.
First, we have to survive Gettysburg.
Yes, we will. Been there, done that.
Survive Gettysburg.
It's that saloon where the hotel is that I'm worried about.
Saloon
Yeah.
always gets you.
We're going,
Yeah.
right, Peppy?
Oh, we're going.
We're going to that saloon.
We're going.
Nice.
Because sometimes the spirits come in bottles too.
That's right. That's right. That's where I like to find my demonic possession
Yeah,
at the
right.
bottom of a spirit bottle.
Nice.
All right.
EVPs get more interesting by the minute.
Yep.
All right. Moving on, we have our definition of the week, and that is vortex, also known as vortices or vortexes. It's a concentrated yet brief area of high electromagnetic energy, often found in photographs taken at paranormally active locations. They often appear as a solid opaque white or silver tubes, rods, or elongated ovals. They can also appear to be braided like a rope or a chain. Care has to be taken to ensure that it is not a rope or a chain or the camera strap, etc. A vortex is not an entity. However, some paranormal researchers believe a vortex is a momentary doorway or portal to another realm that allows entities and other paranormal phenomena to come into our world. Some researchers also believe that vortexes are linked to the Earth's own electromagnetic field, which, at least in part, can help determine when these portals will open or close. It is also believed that some locations are more prone to having active vortices due to the alignment of the Earth's magnetic field and the local geological structures. So that's vortex.
Nice.
Very simple.
I
should have ended that sentence a little better. It sounded like I was going to continue.
That's all right. I'll jump in. I went and visited Sedona, Arizona a couple years ago, and there are places you can go to where they will give you maps of locations where you're most likely. The locals will say that these are places you'll run into vortices.
Most likely, but won't actually find, or
Where they're more likely to
Pay
be
$5
encountered.
and
Well, no, actually, I got the map for free, but
Oh, okay.
I brought the girls with me,
not-
so you know.
it's not like a map to the stars' homes.
No, it's like these are places where where we tend to find that they open up more often than others, and you go and they'll say, well, you see all the trees are all twisted up, and this is evidence that these things happened. Take that where you like. That's also
is there a tourist trap on each of the spots?
there may have been a UFO museum and gift shop there, but whatever.
I'm thinking like that episode of Supernatural.
Is that where you
they go
got
to
Mike, that
supposed,
inflatable green
Yes, which guy
alien?
I think did that survive the move or did it?
No, I don't think it did.
It escaped.
It escaped. It went back to the mothership.
Yes.
He found his probe and he got out of here.
Yeah,
Lift the probe another day.
Dylan may have appropriated the probe. Anyway, folks can live the way they want to live. I don't judge.
It would
So
right.
explain a lot about him.
that would. He was in like the next episode of Men in Black. So he's gonna be in the next installment.
Waddling.
Waddling.
Just look into this. Look into the pen. There you go. Anyways, I digress.
So that is a vortex. And if you want to see any of this information, like our urban myth and legend or our definition of the week, you can go to our website at www.liparanormalinvestigators.com, where we have all this stuff listed and you can read about it, see some pictures, things like that. Next, we have our equipment review, and that is the PSB 7 Spirit Box.
Yes.
Super fun.
Yeah, it's not bad. We just started using it probably within the past couple months, and it's it takes some time getting used to, but it's not too bad. Basically, what the PSP 7 Spirit Box does is that it will scan either AM or FM frequencies. You choose which one you scan, and we're trying to work with kind of both to see which one we get better results in. And basically, it just scans the frequency, and you pick how fast it scans it. We do a forward scan. We don't deal with stuff in reverse. I feel that in a reverse scan, it's just you're really pulling stuff out at that point. So we always do a forward reverse, and you pick the scan rate that it goes. And the theory is that while it's scanning the different frequencies, that the entity or ghost or whatever is able to communicate with us that way in tapping into those frequencies. And the whole theory is what it should do is as it's scanning multiple frequencies, you'll hear the voice come through over multiple frequencies, and that's the question on hand is, well, if it came through on a specific frequency, when it changed the next frequency, you would lose it, it would be gone. But the point is when you do get something coming over, it's actually scanning on multiple frequencies. So that's the whole theory behind it, which gives it a little bit more credibility. With doing analysis and when using the PSP 7 Spirit Box, be careful. You want to make sure you're doing opening prayer or closing prayer to make sure whatever's coming through isn't negative or anything like that. Try to limit yourself to time sessions. Don't waste an entire investigation on using this device when you have other things. Like we have a large source of equipment where if we had the PSP 7, everyone might start to gather around it and then forget about the equipment that they have. So try to limit yourself to time sessions. And when you're doing analysis, make sure you're very hard on your analysis, your evidence, that you get through it. And stuff that usually comes through it's not called an EVP. It's called RVP, which is radio voice phenomena, because it's coming through radio signals and radio frequencies. So that's about it. It is on our website. You can check it out at www.liparanormalinvestigators.com under our equipment section, PSP 7 Spirit Box. Cost of the device is about $60, give or take. Very simple to use. Comes with instructions on how to use it and do everything. It's real simple. So if you guys ever have any questions for us, you can feel free to email me, Mike at liparanormalinvestigators.com, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. So there you have it.
Good stuff.
Yep.
I like it. It's not
bad.
bad.
Takes a little time to get used to, but we'll get used to it.
The name makes me think of an airplane.
It does, right? Yeah, it does.
Pilot's a bombardier.
All right, so moving on. This month in paranormal history, that's what I'm calling
this
it.
month.
This month. Since
You were
since
supposed
last
to
week's
discuss it at the very
since
beginning of
last
March.
week's show got away from us, or not last week, the week before's show got away from us.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for our anniversary show.
That was still a good one.
That was
That
a good
was
episode.
fun. I hope everybody
Reminiscing.
enjoyed that.
If you missed it, head onto YouTube or the Facebook page or Google Plus and catch up. That was a
It
good
was fun.
episode.
Good times.
Absolutely.
So
We were
moving on.
sober too. That's the amazing bit.
March 1st, 1692, Salem witch hunt begins. Take it away, Rob.
As you can tell, we intended to go over this, I don't know, about a month ago.
Things happen.
So anyways, back in Salem Village in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba, who was an Indian slave from Barbados, are charged with the illegal practice of witchcraft. Later that day, Tituba, possibly under coercion, confessed to the crime, encouraging the authorities to seek out more in the way of Salem witches. And thus history is born. Trouble in the small Puritan community began the month before, when 9-year-old Elizabeth Parris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams, who were the daughter and niece of respectively of Reverend Samuel Parris, began experiencing fits and other mysterious maladies. A doctor concluded that the children were suffering from the effects of witchcraft.
As most doctors commonly do.
You throw some bones in the air and you go from there. And the young girls corroborated the doctor's diagnosis. With encouragement from a number of adults in the community, the girls were soon joined by other afflicted Salem residents, accused in a widening circle of local residents of witchcraft, mostly middle-aged women, but also several men, and even one 4-year-old child. During the next few months, the afflicted area residents incriminated more than 150 women and men from Salem Village and the surrounding areas of satanic practices. In June of 1692, a special court of oyer to hear and terminer to decide convened in Salem under Chief Justice William Stoughton to judge the accused. The first to be tried was Bridget Bishop of Salem. She was found guilty and executed by hanging on June 10th. 13 more women and 4 men from all stations of life followed her to the gallows. One man, Giles Corey, was executed by crushing, also known as pressing. Most of these who were tried were condemned on the basis of the witnesses' behavior during the actual proceedings, characterized by fits of hallucinations that were argued to be caused by the defendants on trial. In October of 1692, Governor William Phips of Massachusetts ordered the Court of Oyer and Terminer dissolved and replaced with the Superior Court of Justiciar, which forbade this type of sensational testimony allowed in the earlier trials. Executions ceased, and the Superior Court eventually released all those awaiting trial and pardoned those who were sentenced to death. The Salem witch trials, which resulted in the executions of 19 women and men, had effectively ended. And for those of you who don't know what pressing or crushing is, that's when they tie you to a board on the ground, and they slowly stack more and more rocks on top of you that slowly crush your lungs to it to try to get you to confess. And Giles Corey refused to confess, and they kept packing it on him. And Giles Corey was an old man, so he wasn't the strongest person to begin with, and he died rather than confess.
With his final words being, add more weight.
Yes.
Which makes him a bamf right
For
there.
those who saw the movie or watched the
Allegedly,
play,
I would completely go with that as being an actual historic event, and if it's not, it should have been.
Has anybody ever seen the show Salem? It's on WGN.
I've heard of it,
Yeah,
I've never seen
Shannon.
it.
It's really
It's
good
softcore
show.
porn, right? From
Well,
what
I mean,
understand.
If it's on
it's
CW,
a really
how
good
big I can
show.
be?
It's like the twist that they made on it is that like the witches are the ones that are really running the trials, but it's like really true to like history and all the other
Yeah.
senses. It's a really good show. You should check it out. The first season's on Netflix.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, and I love it. I watched
The
like the
second
entire
season
season
comes
in a
out in
week.
April.
It's on
Did you leave your house at
WGN?
all?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that.
I don't have it either. I don't know where it is, but I was gonna see if I can get it on my Roku box.
Cool. That's also just worth noting. All those people that were involved in the court lived on ley lines, and they all died shortly after the Salem witch trials.
Very interesting.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
So moving on, paranormal claims. Salem has so many different reports and stories with paranormal activity, it's too numerous to go over every single one. But there's a list of certain accounts of the more famous spots. Gallows Hill, where the witches were hanged in the old days. Many people say that there are unknown phenomena that occur here and are caused by those witches. There's the Hawthorne Hotel. It has a haunted elevator as well as the 6th floor. Cold spots have been felt as well as chandeliers swaying on their own. Sheriff Corwin, who is associated with the witch trials, is said to haunt the Joshua Ward house, as well as witchcraft victim Giles Corey. Sheriff Corwin is actually buried in the cellar of the Joshua Ward house. At St. Mary's Cemetery, strange sounds and odd lights, like glowing, a white glow stick goes by very fast. There's also a feeling of being watched and being rushed and overwhelmed with negative energy. And Salem Jail is haunted by Civil War prisoners that were held there. So it's just a little roundabout thing. Otherwise, we could spend a whole show plus on just Salem itself.
Yeah.
But it's just some information. If you want to check it out, go research it. It's cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff on Salem witch trials, and
Can't wait to
if
go.
you're interested in it, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I lived in Massachusetts, and I spent some time in Salem. It was a great time.
Were you a witch?
No, I was a warlock. Big difference. All right, moving on. Nancy time.
All right. If you haven't already done so, please go and check out a link that I posted onto our Facebook page and Google Plus. I know we've spoken about sleep paralysis here before. However, TED Talks, it's a website that posts very short videos from some of the thought leaders in different scientists, medical professionals, education professionals, all sorts of artists. But they did an excellent job in presenting what exactly is the science behind sleep paralysis. They did a fantastic job. Also, what I liked about it was that they also talk about different cultures and how they explained sleep paralysis before they had the scientific explanation. For example, if you were in the South, the old hag was standing on your chest and trying to suck the breath out of you. If you were in Australia, it was one creature. If you were in South America, it was another. But they do a really nice job of explaining the science behind the feelings of having a demon standing on you, where that shortness of breath comes from, why do you feel like you're being choked. I said, it does just a really nice job of explaining why people feel the way they do. And I said, I believe, Mike, you mentioned that you had sleep paralysis.
Yeah, it sucks.
How did it, tell us once again, share your trauma with the group.
Awesome.
It was...
So yeah, the first time I ever went through it, I really didn't know what the hell it was, and basically, you wake up, but your mind is waking up before your body can catch up, and you can't move. You're paralyzed. You're in a paralyzed state. You can open your eyes. You can't scream, which was what I tried to do, but nothing came out. And it took me for about 30 seconds to come out of it, and then you kind of like snap out of it and you freak out a little bit because you don't know what the hell just happened. But I've gone through it about 5 times, and after like the 4th or 5th time knowing what it is, you kind of know just to kind of lie there and just let it pass, and you're good to go and you go back to sleep. But they say the number one cause is due to stress. That causes majority of the times. I know high EMF fields, if you're sleeping near that can cause it as well. But yeah, it's definitely pretty scary if you don't know what it is. That's where some people may claim that they're getting held down or strangled or even raped in their sleep, and I'd say about 90% of the time that's exactly what it is sleep paralysis. They also say a lot of times with sleep paralysis, it goes on to the abduction theory from aliens. Mm-hmm. They'll be watching a movie before they go to bed that's fresh in their mind, and they go into this sleep paralysis state, and that's the image that comes out, but it's not really happening. So yeah, it sucks. But
one of the things that this and this is all this is from a scientist. It's not from a paranormal investigator. But they say really interesting statistic that they mention is that half of all people at one time or another will experience sleep paralysis.
Right.
I've experienced it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot. Well, half the global population. But they explain, said that because of your brain is sort of transitioning from deep sleep to being awake, it's like your body becomes paralyzed. Your brain paralyzes your body so you don't hurt yourself while you're dreaming in deep REM. So what happens is that your body is still drugged basically by your brain, but now the brain all of a sudden is awake, but you're still getting the visions and hallucinations of the dream that you're in.
Yeah.
So you see, that's where you see, demons and aliens and whatever else standing on top of you. The shortness of breath is because your voluntary muscles have been paralyzed, so your breath becomes shallow, so it feels like you can't breathe. Your neck muscles constrict because of the chemicals from your brain, so you feel like you're getting choked. So once they explain it, it makes sense. But if you have no idea of what's going on, it can be you can see how this could be a terrifying thing to go through.
Absolutely.
But Mike said, once he kind of knew,
right.
It was like, okay, this is what it is. No, I'm not. You just kind of relax. And they said once you figure it out, your brain is like snaps out of it and it's gone. It's like the illusion is just withered up and gone away.
Yeah.
But yeah, please check out this video. They do a really nice job, an elegant job of explaining the science behind what's going on. And it's no, you're not nuts. There's a physical reason for all these things. Once you know what it is, it's easier for you to deal with. But if you don't know, it can be very terrifying. So, but yeah, please do check it out. Go ahead with your comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. So, yeah, please do. So,
I think it was funny how you were saying real scientists and not like paranormal investigators. It was like, we're scientists. That's what we're gonna call ourselves, scientists.
folks don't have skin in the game. How about that one?
We're scientists. We use scientific theories to prove
We have a
something
jumpsuit.
that we don't know is out there yet.
We have
Pseudoscience
scientists.
is what some
We
people
have
call it.
jumpsuits and have a fire pole to slide down. So, but other than that,
That's not what that's for, Nancy.
well, no, that's true. Well, you got to fundraise somehow. You know, the Kickstarter only went so far.
Is that why he rubs up against it all the time?
Well, that's for a totally different reason, and why we have to use the special cleaner on it.
Oh God.
I got lost and I don't want to come back.
Don't.
you don't want to
Just,
come.
yeah, just keep walking. Don't turn back. Don't ever turn back.
It's safer that way.
Yes. But anyway, that's my side of the street, kids. There we are.
The dirty side.
Yes, that's I proudly take my spot in the gutter. Care to join me or move along? Those are your options.
Nice.
So moving on.
Yes, please do.
Do you want to talk about stones, Miss Shannon?
We're gonna get stoned.
Teresa?
Yeah, let's get stoned. We were out on the
It's time to
street.
get stoned.
We're up the block from Nancy's corner.
There we go. I said, come on in.
Now that you've,
the
now
cops,
that we've,
the cops are
alleyway.
gone. Come on, do this.
Okay, so today we're gonna go over a stone called Apache's Tears. It's a volcanic black obsidian. Apache Tears are a type of black obsidian, but they have a more friendly vibration than some of the other types of obsidian.
They're strong grounding stones and are good for protection. It aids you to clear negative emotions.
They are volcanic stones that may be partially transparent, and their color is very dark brown to black.
And the meaning behind the name comes from an American Indian legend. It said that certain members of this tribe were pursued by the cavalry, and they fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. Rather than, the death being by the cavalry's hands, they jumped off a cliff to their deaths. The women of the tribe were so distraught that they cried tears of grief, which fell to the earth and formed into reality. So people would always remember their story.
So you would use them for spiritual grounding and psychic protection. They will raise your ability to recognize the approach of menacing situations where you may be at risk, and they will also absorb negative energies. It is extremely useful as a healer, ensuring to keep you safe if you are feeling grief or emotional distress, also anxiety, depression, some gastric problems. But you would wear them as jewelry, or you would keep them in your pocket. You want them close to you at all times.
and if you have gastric problems, where do you put it?
Put 'em
Do you
up
really
your
wanna
ass.
know?
I'm just kidding.
Swallow them.
It's
Or-
also a really light stone,
Just
so it's
kidding.
not hard to carry around. Like it's
It's easy to fit up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's nice and porous, so things can get through.
it's a very good stone. So you can make them in jewelry, wear them as a ring, a necklace, bracelet, earrings, or keep them around in your pocket.
Peppy,
You
okay
want
over
to
there?
cleanse them often
okay.
too. So,
How do you cleanse them again?
well, there's
You run
a couple
them
different
under
ones,
warm
but
water.
warm water, and they cleanse better amongst other rock stones.
So like selenite is a really good stone to cleanse other stones with, so you can use that. Also, like a lot of people use like sage and stuff to cleanse their stones, and intention is also a really big part of it.
Word.
What about leaving them in sunlight, or is that
It
like a not
depends
really?
on the stone.
Like smoky quartz, you don't want to leave out
No.
in the sun because it could like cause it to fade.
Mhm.
It's like different. You really have to look up specifically how like each specific stone you
Okay.
should cleanse.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Now, second to last, not last but not least, we have some fan questions to answer. And first one comes from Dara F, who asks, if someone is interested in an investigation, what do they do? And do we is there a charge to contacting us for an investigation? So let Rob take this, or Nancy, or whoever.
There's no charge. We never charge for it. All they have to do is just go on our website. There's a section where it says to request an investigation. So the person would fill out the form. It gets emailed into the case management department, who will take a chance and they'll look it over. And then usually from there, we send the questionnaire back out to the client for some more details to explain some different stuff to us. And after that, we'll schedule you an investigation, then we come and do it. So, nothing too complicated.
Excellent. Next question comes from Sarah L., and she asks, I keep seeing this tall man with a hat on. He is all black. What do you think it is?
Shadow person. Hands down. It's a classic definition of a shadow person. What exactly is that? It's just another type of haunting. It's not like a human entity or anything like that. People believe that it stems from Indian legend. Basically, they're watchers. They'll sit there, they'll walk around, they'll observe you, they'll watch you. Once you realize they're gone, they disappear. They don't like to be seen, they don't like to be followed. If you have cameras set up, they're going to try to avoid the cameras at all costs. So there's nothing you really need to be worried about here. Trying to get rid of it, they don't usually like the lights on, so if you have a dim lit room, have the lights go on, usually it disappears from there. You could try to do like a sage cleansing. That does usually help out a little bit. Prayer always helps, but it's not exact science here, so but
Scientist.
you really don't
Scientist.
you really don't have
that.
anything really to worry about too much, so but yeah.
Awesome. All right, last question comes from Ben F., who asks, for almost a year now, I hear 3 knocks on my door while I'm sleeping. It happens anywhere from 4 to 5 a.m. What do you think it could be?
Well, my first question is at 4 to 5 a.m. you're probably sleeping at this time, so you're probably just about waking up. My first question would be, how do you know it's on the door? That's number one. Depending on where you live, I know if you have baseboard heating, a lot of times when it kicks on, there's air that's in the lines and it'll knock or bang like a couple times, where it may sound like it's your door, but it's really not, just the baseboard heat. So these are things you can check out. If you know what time it happens, wake up a little bit earlier than that and see if there's a consistency towards it, see if the heat's kicking on. You can listen for it and see if that's what it is. If you're afraid that if it is coming from your door, set up a camera on the opposite side of the door. See what happens, and take it from there. Almost be an investigator yourself, and just see what is that the only thing you hear is just 3 knocks? Does anything else happen after that? These are things you got to try to break down. So, but I would say number one thing is it could be heat. It definitely could be the heat kicking in. So just check up on that. Maybe that's what it could be. So that's my advice. If you have any other further questions where you're trying these things, you still can't figure it out, throw us an email, and we'll definitely get back to you. We'll have you try different things and try to get to the bottom of it. But a good question.
Awesome. Thank you guys for all the questions this week. That's all we have this time. And now we have our Lippy Evidence Vault. And this was caught at Hanging Tree back in November of 2014. It's not really a word. It's not somebody saying something. It's more of a sound. But I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. You can try and see what you think it is, and then we'll go over it.
They're at the same spot we were just at.
That's it right there towards the end. Mike, do you want to...
Play that again?
Sure, I'll play it for you guys one more time.
They're at the same spot we were just at.
Yeah, so that's it right there.
Yeah, I mean, this is just something random that we caught on during the analysis on the audio. I don't think we even pinpoint out what's being said here.
We just have it labeled as a growl.
Yeah, class
It's like
D
somebody is growling or something.
Yeah, it's right at the end. It's faint.
It doesn't sound like a word. It does sound like somebody's growling.
Right. Yeah, that's what we labeled it as. I don't think we heard this at the time. It came up through the analysis. So yeah, we'll play it again for you. Let's listen towards the end.
They're at the same spot we were just at.
Yeah, it's just that low,
Yep.
like, kind of thing. So it's cool. It's an interesting sound. It's
sounds like a zipper to me. Like zippering up a suitcase.
Like,
It sounds like to me. Maybe they're getting out of town.
but getting out of here.
Yeah.
Well, I know in Hanging Tree, this was in the back part, and I know we'd had
Oh,
experiences
yeah.
that night
creepy.
where we felt like something was coming, like there was some kind of animal or something like that, and we caught that growl, which is what led us there. There was a woman that we
Right.
had some feelings of, and you know, it was interesting. So it all kind of helped add up to some of the personal experiences that we had. But yeah, so that's all we have for today. As always, you can follow us on Facebook or Google Plus by going to either of those sites and searching for Long Island Paranormal Investigators. On our Facebook page, as Rob was saying earlier, we now have a Lippy store, so if you want to buy some jewelry and things like that, you can check that out. And also you can find us on Twitter. Our handle is @LIParanormal. And as always, if you want to check out any of this information or if you want to contact any of us, you can go to our website at www.liparanormalinvestigators.com and also find us on YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening to this is probably where you got it. So check out all our other videos. We have a new episode this week that went live for Lippy Light. It was at Stony Brook Gristmill. It was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good jokes in there and some craziness that happens. Jake almost got hit in the head by a duck or a geese or whatever flew by his head.
Photobombed by
Got hit
waterfowl.
by a bat one night.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. So, yeah, so check out all our other videos on here, not just the Ghost News Network. There's some pretty good stuff on there.
Absolutely. And for longtime listeners of the Ghost News Network, you know about our friend of Lippy, artist Byron Rempel, who's helped us out with contests and such. Well, we have a project going. You can check us out on www.twosentencehorrorswithans's.com. We have all sorts of stories and artwork and all sorts of cool things going on. So please check it out. Let us know what you think. That's what I got.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great night, and we will talk to you, not next week. Next week's WrestleMania, so I won't be here to record. So, you know.
Hulkamania running wild.
Priorities. But yeah, I usually have a big WrestleMania party at my house. But,
Do you wear spandex?
Well, he always
when
wears.
don't I?
Yeah, he always wears spandex.
Just will it be on the inside or the outside? You never know. But all right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great week, and you'll hear from us soon. Take care.
Night.
Good night.
Bye. Ciao.